All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, media, our inductees. Before we begin, I'm just going to go over the process of today's events just to make sure everything runs smoothly. First, we're going to have introductory remarks from our Vice President and Director of Athletics, Dave Hickey, and the Chair of our UA Sports Hall of Fame Selection Committee, Rocky LaRose. We're then going to turn to our 2020 inductees for their introductory remarks before we make them available for questions. Any questions for Rocky will be directed to the end of this press conference, please. If you have those, we'll address those at that time. Currently, we're going to keep everyone, media and inductees in attendance muted. And we ask that you remain muted unless you're asking a question or have been addressed in a question, just to keep down on echoes and problems. Media, when you have a question, please use the raise hand function on your screen. That will let me know that you have a question. I'm going to be using those raised hands to direct the orders of the chat. You can look in the chat to see who will be next, but I will also be addressing it on the feed here. If you guys do not have access to the chat. When your opportunity comes to ask a question, I'm going to unmute you. But I will then lower your hand. If you have an additional question, raise your hand again, just so we know. Any questions on that process? Everybody understand what we're going to be doing? Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to turn things over to our Vice President and Director of Athletics, Dave Hickey.
All right. Hey, thanks, Brett. I think I got all those ground rules. Boy, I tell you, I feel like I'm a little bit back in the classroom having to remember all those things. But yeah, great. Welcome, everyone. Hope everyone is, as we talked offline, just a little bit safe and healthy under these really unprecedented times. But welcome to our Zoom press availability for really our exciting announcement today. So on behalf of Arizona Athletics, I want to officially congratulate all 7 of our inductees today, as well as their families and friends, on this tremendous honor. And that's inclusion in the University of Arizona Sports Hall of Fame, our truly highest honor. The Hall of Fame here at Arizona Athletics is one of the greatest distinctions that a Wildcat can earn. And each of these year's inductees are absolutely deserving of this recognition for setting a true championship level and excellence level of student athlete experiences while their time here at Arizona. We thank you all, inductees, for representing the Block of A with pride, with dedication, and with excellence, and for being a first-class example for our current and our future Wildcat student athletes. You definitely set the bar incredibly high for all of those current and future student athletes. At this time, I want to welcome our chair of the University of Arizona Sports Hall of Fame, the committee that we have that puts together this tremendous event, but actually the most important thing selects this very deserving class, and that's Rocky LaRose. Rocky, as we all know, a former student athlete, a former coach, a longtime and nationally renowned administrator, all here while she was here at Arizona. One of the real best, a tremendous Wildcat who's very instrumental in our Hall of Fame. No doubt about it. It was instrumental in a lot of our student athletes' careers and lives on campus while they were here. And is really, as we like to call her, our beloved keeper of Arizona history and tradition. So with that, Rocky, I'll turn it over to you, and glad to have you here today.
Wow. Thank you, Dave. I think it's just because I'm the oldest or have been around the longest, but I'll take that. I love knowing everybody. Well, thank you. And I send my welcome also to everyone, and congratulations, University Sports Hall of Fame class of 2020. Dave, thank you. I can only imagine what you and your team are going through right now during this historic and unprecedented time. So thank you for holding this all together, for continuing to move forward. So we have these positive stories and positive news, and for giving us a chance here to travel down memory lane and honor some of our very special Wildcats that have brought so much to the U of A, to its history and its legacy. Sometimes I think People think that the selection committee has such an easy job when they look at the credentials of our inductees. It seems so obvious and simple, but it is actually a very thoughtful and a very hardworking effort to really pick out the best of the best. And this 2020 class is the best of the best. And they show us the depth of the incredible success the University of Arizona Athletic Department has experienced over the years. As you look at the class, you can see we have an award-winning coach to elite level student athletes. We have All-Americans to national champions. And the thing that really touches my heart is that we cover a lot of the eras from pioneers to modern day athletics. So this class truly showcases of athletic pursuit of excellence. And as we like to say about our Sports Hall of Fame, this is our story. This is who we are. And although I can't say it like Coach Miller does on the video before the basketball games, this is Arizona. So we love this group. We say congratulations again to all of you. Welcome our media partners. Thank you so much for all you do. And now I'm happy to turn it back over to Brent. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Rocky. All right, at this time, we're going to throw over to our inductees for some opening remarks. We're going to begin with Jean Bassan.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Dave and Rocky, for those awesome comments. Really awesome to be here. I wrote a couple things down because there are some important things that I wanted to say. So first off, I wanted to thank the Hall of Fame committee for including me in this year's class. It really is a great honor, and I'm really excited to be part of such a great group of inductees. Thinking back many, many years ago now, my parents made a huge sacrifice, allowing their only son to leave home from South Africa to follow his dreams in a little place called Tucson, Arizona. My hope is, looking back now and thinking about today, that they know that I'm really thankful for that. Also that they know that I'll never take that for granted. And I think moments like this hopefully show them that I worked as hard as I could to make them really proud. Thinking back, I have really, really fond memories of my time in Arizona and being a Wildcat. I think back to the good old days in the swim team very often. And while accomplishments like this are really part of those memories, what sticks out most for me is really the people that made my journey a success. So I think about our world-class group of coaches that we had on the swim team. So Frank, Rhodey, Augie, Rocket, Whitney, they were all incredible at what they did, but more importantly, I think for me, they were incredible role models. I also think about our awesome teammates that we had from all around the world, a couple of which are on the call here today, Annie and Clark. They pushed me to be better every single day, but I think more importantly, again, they turned into lifelong friends, which I think is really special. And then I think about everyone else that really made me feel very welcome at U of A, made me feel part of a family, or ensured that I had a bright future after swimming was done. And yes, I'm thinking of our fellow inductee, Becky Bell here. Thank you very much, Becky. So yeah, I just want to thank all those people very much for making my time in Tucson feel like a second home. And again, thank my parents very much for allowing me to take this journey of a lifetime. Bear down.
All right, thank you for that. Our next inductee is going to be Becky Bell.
Hi, everyone. I had to unmute myself for a second. So, well, this is fun, a Zoom press conference. Thanks to Dave and to Rocky, and the committee, obviously. It's an incredible honor to be going into the University of Arizona Sports Hall of Fame, especially with this group. Trust me, especially with this group. I had the great good fortune of being able to work with them and Cat's life skills. I know them as athletes, but I know them as people. And there just couldn't be a better group. When Rocky told me who was going in, I just was so excited. So congratulations to everybody. To be honest with you, I feel like a little bit of an imposter because I'm like, what am I doing with these people? I don't know that I should be included with this group, but obviously a tremendous honor. It's hard to believe I started here 35 years ago. In some ways it feels like yesterday, but I want to thank Ced Dempsey and Mary Roby, the late great Mary Roby, for hiring a young 26-year-old, almost 27. It's hard to believe it's been that long, but it's been a great journey. Thanks to everyone in the Arizona tennis family, past and present. There's just something very special about wearing the Block A, and it was a great time to be here. It was a great opportunity to build something together. And much like what John said, there are so many people that contributed to that. And I was just in the right place at the right time. And I hit the jackpot. So very fortunate, very appreciative. So this is a great honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Becky. Our next inductee is going to be Clark Burkle.
Hi, everybody. Thank you first off, Dave and Rocky, and also Elizabeth, for making sure that we knew exactly how to prepare for this Zoom call. I will say this is the first time I've ever done a Zoom press conference, and it's exciting. It gave me something. I told John I actually trimmed my own hair and tried to get myself ready for this. So big deal over here. And so exciting to see all of your faces and just remember being in Tucson and being at the University of Arizona. It's a tremendous honor. I actually transferred my senior year, as many of you know, especially John and Annie, and was very lucky that Coach Frank Bush gave me a chance. Was very lucky that the Wildcat family accepted me in. And I would say it's probably been, one of the most pivotal decisions of my life to make that transfer, and I haven't regretted it. I loved being in Tucson, and just the support that I felt as a Wildcat from people like Becky, helping me kind of plan my next steps after I finished swimming and finished competing at the Olympics. Just to, Coach Bush writing letters of recommendation to all my friends, constantly being there is good friends, continuously good friends. Just a very proud set of memories, and this is also such a proud moment for me. And an honor to be part of the Hall of Fame there. There's so many tremendous athletes, and I know John and I joked about it, but just counting down the days until we hoped we'd hear that call or get that call, I guess, from Rocky and have this honor. So thank you all very much. I'm excited to virtually be here with you all, and hope that you all stay safe during this crazy, crazy time.
Thank you, Clark. Our next inductee to speak is going to be Annie Chandler.
Thank you. Thank you, Rocky. Thank you, Dave. I'm thrilled and humbled to be here. And like Becky said, amongst this class I'm with you. I feel like a bit of an imposter myself, even though Becky, you're such a picture of humility. I'm so grateful for your influence during my years at U of A, and just for this opportunity to dwell on 4 of the greatest years of my life. And Frank Bush sent me a really sweet, he was our head coach, congratulatory text. And I replied to him, I'll never forget Halloween 2005. That's when I made my call to commit to U of A. And Frank's reaction was so great. And it was really the most fun phone call I've ever made. And those are just being recruited and then just getting to live as a Wildcat for 4 years. And I got 2 bonus years as a postgrad. Were just some of the most formative years of my life. And I'm just so grateful.
Thank you, Annie. Our next inductee will be Chris Clarkson on behalf of Tom Clarkson.
Tom Clarkson was my father, and unfortunately he passed away in 2005 of esophageal cancer. So on his behalf and on behalf of the Clarkson family, I'd like to first say thank you to Dave, to Rocky, to the University of Arizona and the Hall of Fame committee for honoring my dad. And I'm certainly thrilled to represent him here today. Let me offer my congratulations to all of the other inductees. I know he would have been so proud to have been associated with you all in this capacity. And I think the first thing that would have come to his mind is boy, what a wonderful surprise that this is. And I think he would have joked that he'd be shocked that there are still people out there who remember and appreciate what he accomplished on the baseball field. I think in Rocky's terms, he would fall under that pioneer category that she mentioned in this class. I'm sorry that he could not be here today. This really should be his moment. But hopefully he's looking down and can see just how proud that I am and that our family is of this incredible honor, and that this will become part of his legacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Our next inductee will be Liz Patterson.
Hi, thank you. I am so honored to be here and be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Back in 2006, when I took my visit to Arizona, as soon as I stepped on campus and I met some of the athletes and the coaches, I just knew that Arizona was where I belong. I didn't feel this way about any other college I went to take recruiting trips on until I came to U of A. I'm extremely excited. My parents are extremely excited. And it's been a while since I've been to Tucson, and I'm super excited to get back and hopefully physically be there with you all. Like Annie said, honestly, being at U of A, those 4 years probably was like some of the best times of my life so far. You know, I made lifelong friendships. I've learned so many things, and I've been able to do things I never imagined I would be able to do. So this is such a huge honor, and Miss Becky Bell and Annie, you two are not imposters. Trust me, you definitely deserve this honor, and I'm excited to be here with you all. Thanks.
Thank you. Our final speaker right now will be Rosemary Plodniak on behalf of Tim.
Yes. I am Tim's wife, and he played baseball at the university from 1966 to 1969. He was diagnosed with early onset dementia 10 years ago. But we just want to thank the university and the committee for Tim's induction. It's an incredible honor to our family. He had wonderful memories at the university, and we were always very proud of his accomplishments. But this induction will inscribe his achievements in the university's history forever. And for that, we're grateful. And Tim would have been very proud. So we just want to thank you all very much for including him.
All right, thank you, everybody. We will now open the floor to questions. Once again, if you have a question for any of our inductees or representatives, just raise your hand, and I will be directing the questions. Our first question is going to come from Alec White with the Arizona Daily Star.
Hi, guys. I'm Alec. My first question goes out to Jean and Clark. You guys were both swimming, seems like on the same team together. Just describe your relationship together and the friendship that you guys forged, and why that still resonates with you guys.
Oh, wow. That's a tough question. I guess I'll go first. Clark, jump in and add anything. It's kind of crazy for me to think about. As Clark mentioned, he transferred his senior year from Florida. So I actually didn't really know him. Well, I haven't known him that long, or at least at the time, like we were pretty new friends. But I think we just clicked immediately. I think we had a ton of stuff in common. A love for swimming. We called each other swim nerds, which I think is still true today. A love for working hard, and just big dreams of, doing well at U of A, and then going on after that to get to the Olympics. And I think we've been through a lot together, a lot of ups. We both swam in the London Olympic Games together, which I think was the most awesome experience, certainly that I've ever had with a really good friend. But we've also been through a lot of downs, and I think we've really helped each other get through those things, both the ups and the downs, and we've always been there for each other. And I hold that very dear to my heart, and Clark's still my best friend today, and I hope he will be that way for many, many years to come.
Yes, definitely. I mean, like John said, he said it perfectly. I hadn't known him, or I didn't really know who he was. I knew of him because he was such a great swimmer before I transferred. But and pretty much immediately when I got to Arizona, we clicked, and I just admired John for his work ethic, but also for the fact that he didn't take himself too seriously, and understood where, I guess, the swimming stayed at the pool. His attitude toward the sport was, I'll work as hard as I possibly can, and I'll see where that gets me. I'll stay focused. I'll listen to my coaches and do the best to take care of my body and see if I swim fast. And I just thought that was very impressive, because oftentimes in swimming you can kind of get in your own head, and really with any sport, and maybe take yourself a bit too seriously. And so I just admired his broader view of the world and his purpose. And like he said, just working hard at everything he did. And I think that through that, both of us became good friends and ended up actually living together in Annie's husband's house, Mac Reavers, and with Jordan Smith as well. And all four of us just really, really clicked. And I think that helped us in the pool, because we were constantly having fun, and we just had a great support structure. And in all honesty, I think that was probably, to me, the most valuable part of being in Tucson, was just the family feel. So that really fed into our friendship as well, and just created this lasting friendship, and we still talk pretty much every day to this day. So.
All right, thank you. Our next question is going to come from Damian Alameda of KOLD.
Okay, so this one's going to Jean and Clark and Annie. What is a good memory? What is a good story from those early days on campus in Tucson?
You guys want me to go since you just spoke?
Yeah.
I think one thing that stuck out to me was our coaching staff. A lot of you know Frank Bush, and the man he is and the character he is. But one thing that I noticed instantly, which this was new to me as far as coaches go, was Frank would do all of the pull-ups and all of the dry land. That's what swimmers call like abs and things on dry land with us. And he would do stadiums with us as well. And anybody that's climbed the U of A football stadium steps knows there are 150 steps. And we would do like rounds of sometimes 8 to 10 stadium climbs, and most people would run, and Frank was there with us. And towards the end of my college career, Frank would be climbing on all fours up the last 10 steps. And I remember saying, Frank, are you okay? And he just waved at me like, don't worry about me. I got this. So I think it was pretty cool just that he lived out what he wanted to see from us. He didn't expect us to do anything that he really wouldn't do himself, although we never saw him in the pool, did we?
And yeah, that's a great story. I was going to say something similar, but the thing that stands out for me also about Frank is just how, yes, he was a serious guy and an awesome coach and a great leader, but he would love to have fun too and joke around. And I remember days after I had really bad practices, which seemed to happen pretty often, where I was just struggling and couldn't do much, he would always just pat me on the back and say, you know what, go treat yourself to a peanut butter and jelly sandwich tonight. In fact, you know what, you worked hard today, go have 2, you'll be fine tomorrow. And he, as Clark said, taking, like, the practice was done, it was time to get away from the pool and come back tomorrow in a better spot, and he had a great way of doing that.
Agreed. I won't add too much more, just maybe a small piece on Coach Rodenbaugh, or Rody as we called him. I just remember how different the training was from where I'd been before at the University of Florida, and just being really apprehensive about whether or not I was doing enough work, even though I loved that we did a lot of kind of shorter, faster, more aggressive work. I was nervous. And so I kind of looked to the leaders in my group, which were Andy Chandler and Jack Brown, just seeing the way that, Rhodey had a tremendous amount of respect for them and how focused they were on everything they did. I mean, those, I guess, maybe not a specific story, but just those little pieces, those memories, and just understanding how important it was to the team to have those leaders has always stuck out in my head. And I think that's, again, what made the swim team there so great.
All right, we're going to go back to Damien for the next question.
Okay, similar question for Liz. Liz, give me a good memory story of Coach Harvey.
Coach Harvey, okay. So every year before we, during our outdoor season, we have a double duel meet between us, ASU, and NAU. And so the whole week leading up to the meet, Coach Harvey is in complete ASU gear. He's dragging around a little wagon with a whole bunch of ASU memorabilia on it, just trying to get everybody hyped up and amped up, to get ready for the weekend for our meet. And so at the end of the, practice for the week, leading up to the meet, we'll have a team meeting and, we're hyping him up and he's hyping us up, and all the coaches will have, some comments and stuff to get us going. And at the end, some of the seniors get to come and rip the ASU shirt off of them, and we just get going. But those are probably some of my favorite memories of Coach Harvey. Those fun times, I think him believing in me, especially, I'm sorry, I just get a little nervous when I talk in public, but I would run the 4x1 every now and then. I think just him encouraging me, as being a member of a relay team, because I usually just high jump solely, but sometimes we always needed some extra help, and I was there with them. So have tons of memories of Coach Harvey, but those are a few of my favorites. Yeah.
We don't have any hands raised. Are there any additional questions? Oh, looks like we have Alec. Alec, we're going to go back to you.
Awesome, thanks. This is for Jean or Annie, since you guys were in the swim program for quite a while. I know Frank was the head coach, but his son Augie was around the program quite a bit as well as an assistant, and now he's the head coach of the men's swim program. So just your guys' thoughts on what you saw from him when you guys were swimmers that led you to believe that maybe he could be a successful head coach one day.
You want to go first, Sean?
I'm trying to figure out if I'm muted or not.
I hear you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's a really good question. I think Augie, from what I remember when I was at U of A and Augie was a coach, I think number one, he was an awesome coach. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew exactly what to do with his swimmers to make them swim really fast. I remember Albert Zuberatz was like his kind of star swimmer at the time, and Augie allowed Albert to do some really awesome things that I'd never seen before and that no one had really ever seen before. And that was just one example. He did that with many other people. So I think he really knows how to coach really well. I also remember him being an awesome motivator. And I think we got that from Frank, but he also added his own kind of, style to that, which made it really compelling. And he just knew what to say to get us pumped up and get us going. And I think the last thing I'll say is he loves Arizona with all of his heart. I think, he's probably always wanted to be in the position that he's in now. And just because of that passion that he has, I have no doubt that he'll be incredibly successful.
I think one thing about Augie that's always, he never coached me personally, but he coached, the girl who went on to be the maid of honor at my wedding. So I knew her quite well, Anna AG, and she would, she'd give me full reports of their practices. We were broken into groups in case anybody needs that spelled out. And something that he did really well was instill confidence in the people he coached. And I could see that just watching him on deck. And I don't think there's anything more important in a head coach. is to be confident in every word you're imparting. And I think that's something that's has served him well as a head coach and will continue to help him as he builds this program.
I'm going to continue to keep the floor open for questions for a few seconds. If anyone has any questions, please raise your hand. Okay, at this time, I'll open it for, oh, sorry, Damien, looks like you have a question. Go ahead.
For Jean and Clark, given the current circumstance and then where we stand in the world of athletics, specifically for the Olympians and the would-be Olympians, have you guys given any thought to how you yourselves would be reacting if you were in training for the Olympics now and what that life must be like?
Go ahead, Clark.
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, I've been thinking about it quite a bit. To be honest, my girlfriend now is training. I'm here in Louisville, Kentucky, and she's from the University of Louisville, and is a great swimmer and a favorite to make the team. And so she was going through a pretty difficult time with the news as it was revealed, and just as things developed. And I think the main thing that we focused on was just to stay grounded, continue to have a plan, a schedule, continue to work out, not just to maybe go through your days without purpose just because, you know, the biggest thing in your life, at least at that moment, has been pushed to the side, but to trust what the decision makers, the information that they're getting, you know, the decisions that they're making, that they're not doing anything to punish the athletes. I mean, sometimes it's so easy to think, oh my gosh, this has been taken away from me. How could they do that? In reality, they're doing everything that they can to make sure that the games do happen. And so to focus on trusting those people, sticking to your plan, and just, you know, executing on small daily goals. I think that it's so easy to, I guess, get down or depressed about the fact that the, you know, the competition's been moved, but all you really can do is focus on each and every single day, becoming better at something, learning a new skill, or, you know, working out in a new way. I think that's the main focus. But I think that's how I would try to approach it, would be to set a schedule each and every single day and try to stick to that, just to keep myself on that same regimen, and not try to get too mentally invested in trying to figure out what's going on, or, you know, getting too nervous or upset about it. But it's a very challenging time, and, you know, I just hope that everything is better by next year, because I think sports are an international language, and I think the Olympic Games is such a bright moment for everybody around the world, and having it, I think, is just a tremendous way to bring everybody together. So I trust and believe doing the best they can, you know, the IOC, the decision makers, to make sure the games happen. And you just have to believe in that.
Yeah, I think it's a great answer, Clark. I totally agree with you 100%. Clark and I have exchanged a few messages about this when there was more uncertainty. And I think that would, you know, if I put myself in the shoes of the athletes before the decision was made to postpone the games to next year, I think that uncertainty would have been the most difficult thing to deal with. I think when you're trying to get ready for the biggest event of your life, something that you've dreamed for since you were a little kid, and especially people that, no, regardless of whether you're just trying to make the team or whether you're going to try and get a medal, like, you have to be so focused to do as well as you can and to be at your peak at that point. And I think any kind of uncertainty or doubt that's swirling around just takes away from your focus and your preparation. And so I think the right decision was made to remove all of that, push things to next year, and hopefully everyone can reset and adjust their training programs as they need to be as good as they can next year. Yeah, and as Clark said, let's hope that things are in a better position at this time next year, and we can actually have the Olympic, because it truly is like an event that brings the world together, which I think is very much needed right now.
I'm going to leave the floor open for a few more seconds for any additional questions. Reminder, please raise your hand.